Good evening, everyone. This is Ryan Hoyme, aka Massage Nerd, and this show is brought to you by our friends at Massage Magazine Insurance Plus. Massage Magazine has been exploring touch and therapies for over 25 years and has been used in the industry knowledge to develop the best liability insurance in the business. Tonight, our special guest is Max Fanderl, the owner of Appointment.com. His topic is affordable and easy websites for massage therapists. Welcome tonight. Hi, Max.
Hi, Ryan.
Yeah.
Well, I never heard you that serious like the last 30 seconds.
That's the only time you're ever going to hear me serious, okay?
Holy Schmidt. I thought I'm on the wrong channel.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
So we're going to be talking about affordable and easy websites tonight for MTs because we all know it. There's a lot of massage therapists that need websites out there. So the average massage therapist, it doesn't seem like they have a website. So we need to kick it up a notch, right?
Well, the big question is affordable. What is really affordable? And as I mentioned before, is, a $20,000 website is actually very affordable if you make $100,000 out of it, right?
Yeah, very true.
So there we go. It's an affordable website. It's just in how you get the money out of it, right?
Yep.
And this being said, it doesn't help you right now. I mean, affordable websites, what we want to talk about, that's what I actually show a lot of people, is how can you get into websites in an affordable way, not breaking your bank account or going for big credits and then getting something out of it. But key really about this whole thing is affordable website, well, it doesn't really make sense. Because first we got to find out what is actually the web, or what is the web supposed to do for us. And this is where most people already fail at the very beginning. They might just go to somebody and say, I need a website. And then they go to a web designer and they say, okay, now I have a website, but it doesn't work.
Oh.
So it was a good price, but it doesn't work. And this means, in my eyes, if you have a website which doesn't work, it's not affordable at all. Actually, it costs you a lot of money. You could have saved that money and have maybe a trip to Mexico or whatever, right?
Yep.
So most people actually already at the very beginning fail in what the website is supposed to do, or how it actually should work as a communication tool. And this is where I see lots of people will nod their head and say, yeah, I know, website is a communication tool. It's to communicate. But the only problem is that most people see the website as a flyer or as a business card and nothing else and nothing beyond. And then really a website can maybe only do as much as a flyer or as a business card. And this is, I think we should start in this session here right now, is what is the main fundamentals of a website? Or what is the main fundamental part of any kind of sales, from a sales communication tool? And the key part is this. If you only have a business card or a flyer and give it to somebody, most likely it will not initiate a deal, because most people just say, here I am, and then they walk away and people say, okay, I saw them, and they don't maybe think right away they need their services, right?
Yep.
And I want to bring up a little sample there. Is when I built my house here 10 years ago, and we were just about in the finishing stage, a landscaper drove by and said, oh, hi, my name is such and such, and here's my business card, I'm a landscaper. And I said, oh yeah, great, nice to meet you. And then he turned around, went in his truck and drove away. And I said, oh yeah, great, he is a landscaper. Oh, wouldn't have known that he's a landscaper, would you? Right? Anyhow, on the end, I went back home, looked at his business card, and I just, by coincidence, I needed a fire starter. And so I used his business card, lit it up, and had a good fire starter going on there, right? Didn't even think about twice anything else. A week later, another landscaper came by. But this guy gave me his business card and said, hey, my name is this is my business card. So I thought, oh, I have another fire starter coming here, right? I didn't even think much about landscaping, because I was too busy with my house, to get the exterior finished and blah, 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 whatever done, right? And I didn't even think about really landscaping yet. But then one of the guy gave me that card. He just pointed to a corner where there was an old stump sitting there and a big tree on the side, right? And he asked me, what are you planning to do with this corner, you know, from landscaping perspective? And I looked at him and I said, well, you know, this is such an old stump over there. It's so rotten. It is so awful that it already starts to look good again, right? And then he said, yeah, true, actually, you know, true. There's a lot of people, they actually get them out to find old stumps and old things like this and get corners like this set up in their gardens. And so what this guy did, the landscaper, he started actually to challenge me on an ongoing basis. He said, well, he always asked me a question where I had to reply back with something, right? And on the end, what we call this in the sales world, we call it, you always have a call to action for whatever you advertise. That means your customer has to get back to you. So what this guy has done is actually started to initiate a conversation with me. And with the conversation, he created trust. And at the same time, while he created trust, we started the relationship, kind of, right? As I told you before, I didn't kiss him.
Yeah.
But, you know, when I came to the point landscaping, and I had his card, I was not firing up his card as a fire starter. I kept it aside, and literally 6 months later, I phoned him up and said, hey, we talked about this and this idea, and this and that. I'd like to continue on, right? And this is where a good communication tool comes in. Both landscapers had the same business card. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
The first landscapers ended up in my fireplace pretty quick. Not because I didn't like them, right? Just because I had no reason to follow up with them. And I was too busy during that time to do something with the house. The other landscaper pushed me into a call to action scenario. And this is what actually created trust and created a relationship and created on the end a customer. And this is really so important for sales. And the website itself, if you have a flyer laid out or a flyer online, which most people call a website, will not do that kind of purpose. So a website got to have this kind of call to action always in place in order to create or make business and create the trust and create on the end the relationship. And this is what most people have to understand first. Does it make sense so far?
Yeah. And why do people have to do the? They still have the mindset of the hard sale kind of mentality. Then.
What do you mean with the hard sale mentality?
Well, they gotta close the deal like right now, kind of thing, and do whatever you can. And
it's depending on what kind of sales you're in, right? Some people have to have a hard sale and have to be done right away, or you have to sign up now to get the special deal. It's entirely up to you. Really what I feel is what is the most important part is with any deal you do with anybody is you got to create a bond. And the bond got to be there within the first 3 seconds.
Okay.
And the first 3 seconds means A, you got to have the right message to bring over. B, the message got to be so that the other person understands who you are, what you want, so they understand what that person wants from me, right? And then from there, you follow up with the next messages. Okay. So, as an example now from a website perspective, good call to action is a kind of some advertising from our end would be having an online scheduler built into it, right? Because if you have a website, you introduce yourself, a call to action would be go to the online booking calendar or go to appointment.com and schedule your own appointment. That's a call to action. A lot of people might come back because they don't want to do bookings over the phone. They just come back to your website to get to book appointments, right? Other things as a call to action could be, well, obviously also, contact us at other number, but other call to actions would be to keep your clientele actually interested in what your website shows. And this is what I think for MTs is extremely important, is if you just show something on your website stating, I'm a massage therapist, I'm good at hot rock massages and Swedish massages and blah 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 and sports massages and whatever massages, right?
Yeah.
This person will come on to the site once. If you have no scheduler built into it, maybe a second time, and that's it. See, because they already know your flyer, they already know your business card, And unless they're looking for your phone number, they would come back to the website. Other than that, they will not come to the website because they don't need to be told 5 times or 100 times over, I'm doing hot rock massages, I'm doing Swedish massages. Hey, I know that already. Right? Isn't it true?
Yep.
That's really, if you look at most websites, that's what they do. They're just saying, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And then maybe once a year they put a special a news thingy out there saying, over the holidays we have different business hours. These are news for me coming back, right?
Yeah.
So, and this is where things, I think, for MTs should be changing. And I want to show you a little site. It's my personal site, which I use just more for playing around with communication tools, right? You can see Ryan is the massage nerd, I'm the flying nerd.
Yeah.
I like flying a lot, and to a level, I used to do this for a living, and yeah, I'm still almost, no, not quite back for a living again, but I bring it to a level where we race in Europe now several times, like doing the Red Bull X Alps, which is a very high-end race, and we have a lot of people who follow us, I mean, it's my wife and myself, in where and what we do. So now I told you very briefly what I'm doing. If I just told you what I'm doing, you would maybe look at my website and see, oh, okay, this is what this guy is doing. He's jumping off perfectly safe mountains, right?
I love that.
But they wouldn't come back a second time. Maybe they show their friend, like, look at this guy, he's jumping off a perfectly safe mountain, right? And what else? But that's how far it would be. People wouldn't come back anymore. Now, in our industry, where we are in, it's like this adventure races, the adventure sports, people are more interested in what we keep doing on an ongoing basis. So I changed my homepage, instead of saying that I'm jumping off perfectly safe mountains, to tell them what I'm actually doing. And I just do this, bear in mind this on the side. You can see here, I'm stating right now, we did a presentation in Munich to just about 200 people there, with another competitor, the Italian, Andy Frutcher. And we entertained these people for 2 hours with a huge slideshow and movies and videos and all this Red Bull stuff in there. And so this is just a follow-up on what we have done. Before that, we talk about there will be this presentation happening, right? And then before that, you can see I work part-time. I mean, if I can just get the time out of it as a guide in the Dolomites for flying and hiking and mountaineering. And you see there's pictures in there when I took a Canadian group over and flying over all over the peaks there. See about the routes, what we have flown, and some tips and tricks with built-in videos, you know, where we fly and how we fly. And so that makes actually people coming back on an ongoing basis, right? But here you see the other parts of it. We're flying over the castle. This is actually a video me flying with my son, actually. That's actually
and you want to do a screen sharing so people can see it then more?
Oh, I don't have the screen sharing
no.
in there? Let me see, how do I do that? So you just see my picture. I thought we had the screen sharing in there.
Yeah, go into conversations and then share screen.
First screen.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, I was talking along there and I thought you saw that all.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, here is the screen of my website, again, just to show you briefly. Flyingmax.com with us in there, with the news about Andy Frutcher, where we have been in there. See the race part in there, right?
Yeah.
And you see what its homepage is. The homepage is nothing else than just a blog. And that blog, constantly I feed, let's say once a month, my case, or every 2 months to some extent, depending how active we are, right? See, this is the girls I was talking about.
Yep.
By the way, this is my wife here in the middle. So she's always with me. Don't you think different of me, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And here, this is actually a quick video there, flying with my son. We're flying just right over the fairy tale castle in Neuschwanstein there.
Cool.
So anyhow, so you can see why people would come back here to say, wow, I want to see more how these guys are doing their family activities, right? And, other things there, we did some things like how they chasing cows through the beer tents, as an example, right?
Yep.
You see, it's a very exciting website from that perspective, isn't it?
Yep.
So, now, bringing this over to massage therapists, I'm always saying how when you have your patient on the table and you update them with settled news, what is new in the massage world from the house perspective and so on, these people are always interested to listen to it. And they're always going like, wow, this therapist is a good therapist, not just because he gave a good treatment, because he also gave me good advice.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just giving the treatment, it's also giving the advice. You act as a consultant as well, right? So now just imagine you have a website like this, not just saying I'm doing this special massages or whatever, making brief updates in here which your customer is interested in, such as certain, if you have lots of athletes you deal with, right?
Yep.
They like to get some news about how they can recover faster and how they wouldn't break down so much muscle tissue because of working out too much, or how they can protect their knees and other things, whatever, right? So if you have some settled news always in there in your blog, on the homepage, that makes actually people coming more often back just to see what you have as the latest updates.
And the nice thing about this, what I'm seeing is it's going to be a lot easier to find information than on Facebook. Because on people's fan pages and stuff, I mean, it gets lost after a day or two, and it's hard to find that information. So.
Yeah, well, Facebook is a different scenario. I will talk about Facebook in a minute.
Yep.
The key is, whatever you do, is the website itself is your communication hub.
Uh-huh.
And this hub is where everything evolves around of. So if you put this news in there, right, you first of all, what you do in this news is you bring a lot of content into the website, and you bring a lot of new content into the website. And this is really what your customer is interested in. Your customer is not interested what you told them a year ago or what you told them 2 years ago, unless they forgot, right? And it's interesting again. But if they already heard that story, they don't want to hear the story again, right? So your customer wants to hear always new information. Now your website will always give them new information. But the next point is this. If you bring them new information, as example, Google loves new content. And they're really great websites. If you have a website, which is a homepage which never got changed within the last 5 years, your ranking most likely will be way worse than a person who always keeps new content bringing into their homepage.
Uh-huh.
And so from a search engine perspective, this will help as well. And also, and I want to just talk briefly about it, is a website itself, as you know, to be listed properly, is using meta tags. What is a meta tag? I think the massage nerd should answer that.
No. It all falls into like SEO, search engine optimization.
SEO. You're using SEO words. This is 3-letter word.
Yeah, yeah.
Not a 4-letter word. It's a 3-letter word.
Yeah, exactly.
So what does SEO really stand for? What does it? What does this already go for?
Am I answering you again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Search engine optimization.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so search engine optimization means in this case there is professionals out there who optimize your homepage to have better exposure in Google as an example, right? And now there is the big question. You can have a lot of exposure, but the problem is, for what do you want to have your exposure? Is it for, selling products? Is it for giving treatments in certain areas? Or is it giving treatments for certain groups, such as athletes, as an example, or for pregnant, not people, for pregnant women, I think, right? People are not pregnant.
Yeah.
but you see where you specialize yourself, right? And that's important too. To some extent, you got to specialize yourself in the homepage to get the right exposure out of it. So in the search engine optimization means, A, you're using the right tagline or headline within the website itself, and also within the site to define who and what you do. So one of the key things is to actually on the website introduce yourself of who you are and what you do. That's the key, right? And once you have this already in place, then you bring them in and tell them what news you have to offer. And this is where I like this homepage with a blog built into it. Works very well for that from this perspective. But now talking about cost, right? Because stuff like this will cost money.
Yeah.
Let's see what I have here. So this is a page where just, you see that page too?
Yep.
So just to summarize this a little bit. Affordable and easy websites for MTs. Well, the first question is reason of a website for MTs. And obviously we advertise for new customers or keep customers current with news and updates in the massage world. So, and not just only have specials in there. Because yeah, sure, if you have a special in there that helps to some extent, or if you tell them you have new seasons opening times, it helps a little bit too. But if you really give them more up-to-date information, what is in their interest, will definitely help more to bring them back, right?
Yep.
And as I said, a really good call to action is actually having an online scheduler such as appointment.com to bring actually people to the website that they can actually do their online bookings right from there too. So to get into this part, to make this really effective on the end, once you have your website set up, we're talking search engine optimizations. And search engine optimizations means in this case, either your web designer or specialists will come in and say, we bring you up to page 1 on the search Google rank and whatever, right? Quite frankly, I have tried it and I have paid for it and it did not work. Did yours work? Right?
No, I never paid for one yet. But what I've noticed, back in the day when I first launched my website, I didn't even have any keywords, or I didn't even optimize it or nothing. And a lot of times, the first page or even the first thing, massage pictures. So the thing is, I don't know if it was big time luck or anything else, but I hardly had any text on that page or anything. But it just baffles me because I didn't even have any keywords or even description or anything on there. So I mean, Google's so hard to read.
Yeah, but you know what you most likely did is you had pictures with alternative text in it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what Google used to do. It's at least 8-9 years back. What they had this thing going on. They said, you know, pictures describe way more about you and your website than words do.
Okay.
And so what they have done is then for a while they went into, and they still do it to some extent. Well, obviously a search engine cannot see the picture. You know, they say just, oh, nice.
Yeah.
Really, they have no idea what it is, right?
Yep.
But so how they can find out what this picture is all about, they're actually reading the alt text, means alternative text for a picture. And what you do when you design a website, I don't know if I have this actually done in mind here. I can see it here. Oh, not see it here right now. Let's go to the massage nerd site, huh?
Yep.
I don't know if this is now just in Google, which doesn't work properly. When you move your mouse over, sometimes this alternative text comes up, the text underneath that graphic. Which means you describing that graphic. So let's say here you see Massage Insurance Plus magazine, right?
Yep.
You can see that. The search engine cannot see that.
Yep.
But if you put an alt text underneath there saying Massage Insurance magazine plus the insurance company best thing ever, right?
Yep.
Then this is what the search engines can read. They read that graphic. It's the alt text you put into it. And they actually put this quite high into their search ranks. Did you know about that?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
So this is one part I would use for sure. Right?
Okay.
Then from an SOE point, it's also, again, there's a headline in there, or the title line, the description, and putting keywords into place. So once you have this all in place, right, then you have a fair good chance to get actually better, a way better result on your website to come people coming back on an ongoing basis. All right?
Yep.
So now, in order how to get websites done or laid out, that's what I just want to talk about this briefly, is, as an example, as a host, I'm using, for my case, I'm using GoDaddy.com. Brian, you're using somebody else, you were saying?
Yeah, I use GoDaddy, but then I use HostGator to host my website.
HostGator to you
Yep.
host your website.
Yep.
Okay. I'm using GoDaddy for getting my domain name. It seems to be the cheapest, and actually GoDaddy, I think, is the biggest registrar in the world, isn't it?
Yep.
Something like that.
Yep.
And I like the advertisements too. They're pretty cool. Especially the Super Bowl ones or whatever they have. There's always cool stuff out there.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so they have a really good pricing in getting your own domain name, and they also have good pricing actually in getting your website set up. Website setup, I get my websites done like this one. You can see here. So that's the wrong one. Let me be here again. This website is created in a program called WordPress, and just type this down here. You see that? WordPress, okay? And WordPress is nothing else than just a content management system. It stands for CMS. So if you want to sound really smart, just tell your colleagues, I want to get my own CMS. Okay? It's very impressive, believe me.
Yeah.
So WordPress allows you pretty much to create and update a web page on the fly, on the web browser. You don't need to install any software, nothing whatsoever. You just fill out the form, put in your text, click update or click publish, bang, and it's done. That's how quick it goes, right?
Yep.
And that's key for most websites, is that you are able to update your own website, because you don't want to get somebody else involved to do your own updates. You know, especially like special updates or blogs and whatever, right? It's almost like if you would hire somebody to answer the phone for you, and you tell the person what they should talk into the phone. Makes no sense.
Yeah.
So if you have your own WordPress site in there, you can go in and just type it in what you want and get it done that way, right?
Yeah.
Then the next part is how to design a website. And designing a website, you know, this is the big part. This is most of the time where people, where the price comes into place, right? You can use something what I have here. I just used actually a theme from WordPress and just put my header in, just this way, and I'm done. That's all I needed for design. It's not always that easy for some people to find that right design like that, right?
Yeah.
So now you can go to a web designer and get the web page designed, and this is where the problem starts. Because if you deal with a web designer, that means you get a certain type of design, because every designer is specialized in a certain design. It might be not really your taste level. And what we see most of the time happen is they give you a budget and say, this is the page I would create for you, let's say for such and such, right? They design something, you go on and say, that looks good, but. And these buts get to more buts, and on the end you have a complete different but, and the site doesn't look at all anymore like they suggested, and all of a sudden the page costs 3 times more than they initially quoted you, right?
Yep.
Then most of the time you still don't have what you really need. And so what we are using now, it's a complete different approach, is we're using 99designs.com. And 99designs.com, it's a complete different thinking of designing. And I just started video. I know even if you don't hear that. Or do you hear that? No.
No.
No. Okay.
Oh, and one quick thing. Scott Dartnell says, ask if you can hang glide to San Diego in April of next year.
Hang on 1 second. I gotta turn this guy off. He's too loud.
Okay.
You say hi to Scott.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from him for a long time. Actually, I saw him on Facebook last time.
Yeah.
So what does he want?
He wants you to hang glide to San Diego in April of next year.
Hey, that would be a good long distance flight. I'm in. If you arrange a good landing spot,
Yeah.
besides Alcatraz, I'm in. What was that, San Francisco or San Diego?
Yep. What?
What did you say, San Francisco or San Diego?
San Diego, because American Massage Conference next year in April. Yep.
Actually, San Diego is a huge, big flying site there for hang
Oh, it
glides.
is?
Oh, yeah, right on the coast. It's perfect. Okay. Anyhow, to get back to this, 99designs.com is actually a complete different approach. What you do is, you tell what you want and what you don't want. And then what they do is they create a contest for you. And what you say at the beginning is you tell them what you want and what you don't want, and you assign the trophy or the price you would pay for the winner. So you can go in and say, I want to get the web page designed for, I see they started here for $500-600, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you say what they want, and then on the end, you get a whole whack of designs, you know, presented to you within a week or 2 weeks, and you can actually pick what you like. Because every designer has different approaches, different levels, what they want to do and how they want to do it. Some people are more like the old contemporary design. Some of them like really the, you know, the designs which we might maybe see in the next 40 years.
Yeah.
You know, it goes all over the place. But if you see a whole range of different designs based on your part, what you'd like to see, then you could go on and say, hey, this is what I want. Let's see if you see something here. There was, browse projects. And there is now, just to see this, the pricing, what they do, $900, $400, whatever level you want to get into it, right? And if you want to pick one, this is the winner what they have picked. And they had all these different design layouts, what they wanted, right? And these designers, they just come up with something fairly quickly, showing you what their style is. And then you can say, you know, this is a designer I want to award my trophy to or the prize to. And then you get the website designed the way you want it. So it's a different way. You get a whole whack of designs. So you can go here to see all designs. This guy for $495, they received 39 designs from 14 different designers.
Oh.
See? That's all they paid on the end. There's $495 to get this designs done, and here they are. Isn't that interesting?
Wow, yeah.
So I think, not just for the homepage design, you can also do this with your logo, right? You can say, I need a logo for such and such, this and this. And then again, for $295 you can start, or whatever budget you put in place, right? And then you can go in there, and within a week or 2 weeks, you get certain logos, whatever you want, designed for you. Let's say a salon needs a new design. They pick this design, see, for $295.
Wow, that's cool.
And see, this is what they picked from. Different approaches, right?
Yep.
So you can say, that's where I want to go and want to try certain things out.
So the nice thing is you're just not locked into one person then and stuff, so.
Exactly. So, and that's what I really like about this new thinking and what the website is doing there right now. If you want to get a new website designed or a logo designed, go to 99designs.com, get the stuff laid out for that price, and then you go back to your local web designer, you know, to the web designer. That's a big thing, is a web designer a lot of times is not really a good graphical designer. They understand how to put a website together, but they don't really understand design. And there's a lot of designers out there that really have no clue how to put a website together, right?
Uh-huh.
So, but if you bring them this design, you have this all laid out in there, you can go to your local web designer and say, hey, this is what I want, this is what they're ready for using in Facebook, not in Facebook, sorry, in WordPress, right? And then they can actually structure it for you, put all the content in for you, and or even show you then how to use WordPress that you can do your own updates. How do you like that?
Mm-hmm. And one big problem I've run into with WordPress is if you don't do the updates when they tell you to update, every now and then you can run into glitches and stuff. So definitely make sure people update, and it's always free update, of course. So
yeah, and it's very simple to do in WordPress too. It's just
Yep.
a click, say, there's a new version out there. Click here. They do it automatically.
Yep.
So anyhow, if I go back to that part here, so websites, hosting, GoDaddy, or what's yours again?
What are you talking? Mine's WordPress.
No, hosting itself.
Oh, HostGator.com.
HostGator.com.
Yeah.
Just like that. This way?
Yep.
Perfect. So I just want to advertise yours as well.
Yep.
And then getting the websites designed, I would use 99designs.com. And then from the platform, the CMS to use, I would use actually WordPress. Okay. Now, my site again is laid out as a blog. See that?
Yep.
So you can actually create a blog with WordPress. That works very well, right? So you see here's the archives in there, what kind of blogs we have done. And this really gives you way more exposure to this whole part. What I'd like to talk a bit more is if you don't want to use something like a 99designs.com and don't want to get into a $500, $600, $700 design and don't want to spend another $500, $600 maybe to get the web page completely set up, right? And don't maybe want to spend the $8 per year for your own domain name, which you can use either way, right?
Yeah.
You can also use something different. And what I'm using in here is actually this here. You see that page?
Yep.
It looks a bit different than my flyingmax.com, but other than that, it's actually pretty much the same thing, isn't it?
Yep.
Why does it look different is because this is a test what I have done. I'm using one of the themes they are offering. So no design work had to be done to get this set up. And everybody of you guys know maybe Blogger. Blogger.com is owned by Google.
Yep.
And virtually everybody who has a Gmail address already has an account set up with Blogger.com or will have its own then blog set up. I have it in here, maxfanderl.blogspot.com, right?
Yep.
The beauty on this is that blog is for free. Completely free. There's not even advertisement in there. See, it's completely free. The only advertisement is here on the right hand side. It says Ryan Home Massage Nerd. Oh, this is sharing the screen.
Yep.
But you see, I pretty much duplicated the same thing here. The reason why I'm doing this is because I'm using Blogger for many years, and I see a lot of traffic is coming to that site through Google, because Google kind of likes the Blogger because it is always bringing newest and latest information into it, right? But now the coolest thing about this whole part, which I really like a lot, right, is it's not just a blog, because there's so many free blogs out there. Because look at this here. I have here an About Us, an X-Alps, a keynote speaker, what we do as an example, right? So the Blogger allows you actually to set up sub-pages, meaning it actually acts as its own website.
Okay.
It is actually a website. It's not just a blog. Actually, you see, if I click here, it says About Us. There you see myself, blah, 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 my wife, blah, 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 blah. My kids are, no, not here right now.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so you can see the blog turns into a web page. Home is the blog, About Us, whatever racing we do in here, right? And I can add more into it. And that's what I really like a lot about that. As an example here, this is actually how, when you're logged into Blogger, this is how you update your web page.
Okay.
So you have like your, almost like WordPress, same thing, right?
Yep.
Put in your pictures, click update, and you're done. Isn't that cool?
Yep.
So that's really what I suggest for anybody. There's no excuse from a money perspective. You can get your homepage, your web page, right now set up with blogger.com for free.
And then if somebody wants their own domain, they can just direct their domain to there then too, right?
Correct.
Yep.
They can actually just upload or get their domain going straight to that page. That this will not say maxfanderl.blogspot.com. It actually would then say yourdomainname.com.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, because everybody wants it as simple as possible kind of thing. So.
Yes,
yeah.
It's very simple to a forwarder or do this exactly. I think you can set this up your own domain name in Blogspot, that it actually will come up with this domain name.
Uh-huh.
Right? And then you have your complete website for free right there. I mean, if you go with GoDaddy.com, I think they charge you $6 or $7 per month hosting fees, including WordPress. And it's not that much either, right? But really, if you don't want to get into it, get this all set up and done from the setup, even from the 99 Designs perspective, right? Just start with this here. And I think you can't get it, first of all, any cheaper and any more powerful than this.
Yeah, because so many on people's mindset are you have to spend so much money in order to get the goods and stuff, but nowadays it's a little bit different.
Yeah, but again, you see, Ryan, the key is to understand how to use a tool. I told you before, is you know, if you buy the best skis out there, it doesn't make you a good skier.
Yeah. Or maybe you could actually buy the best skis and put them on the best skier.
Ah, that's a different idea.
Yeah.
You know, some people, they go on there, they say, well, you know, it's I cannot good ski because it's the ski's fault.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's the color of the skis, they say, right? If there would be different color, they could ski better. Anyhow, as you can see, is you can have all these tools out there. If you don't understand how to use these tools, right, that makes the difference. And that's what I'm trying to bring across here is stating, hey, if you want to have a website, make it as an interactive website with just putting some news, some stuff in there which you share with your customer anyways, right?
Yeah.
Maybe even put an online scheduler into it, that people come back and schedule right away online with you, and then at the same time you can actually expose them with the new information, what you bring out there. That creates more interaction, and it creates trust and credibility right from that point. You know, if you come back to the website and still saying, I'm specialized in hot rock massages or in sports massages, right? Mm-hmm. And if you see this 3 years, the same line again, it doesn't mean anything to you anymore. It makes it actually very dull. And anybody else who comes up with a different message, they will be more likely liked than you with the same message. And we see this quite often, especially massage therapy people. Lots of people get used to a massage therapist and they like it. But if they don't get any updates during their treatments and don't feel always comfortable during the treatment to go any further, right? Then if somebody else comes by and says, wow, you know, have you heard about this technique and this muscle release thingy here and there? All of a sudden the person will think, wow, maybe I should try the other massage therapist once for a change, because what they just told me sounds pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Do you think newsletters are good for people?
Newsletters are good, for sure. The only thing is newsletters require just a lot of more work. Because in a newsletter, you cannot just type short notes up like you can see here in the blog.
Okay.
Right? What I would do, and thanks for bringing me there, is I would actually use, to get more exposure to that site, there is two ways. I mean, people, as you can see here, they're using, as an example, Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Facebook can act like a newsletter. Bring this further down here. See, list service is something where you bring newsletters in, correct?
Yep.
And so what this means in this case, you accumulate a lot of emails, and once you have the emails accumulated, you can send a mass email to all these subscribers and send them a newsletter. To create that list could be painful, right?
Yeah, big time.
Big time. So it's not that easy. It sounds easy. But other people go then over and say, we got to use Facebook, correct?
Yep.
And Facebook, then they're using the Facebook pages where you put the likes in, or you put the Facebook group things in, where you know, you get, the group is almost like an updater which sends you an email when you update something within the group. It's almost acting like a newsletter, right?
Yep.
Personally, I mean, it's all a great idea. It works very well. I actually feel, and I think, Facebook as it is, it's on its way out. And I know it sounds a bit shocking for many people because they really think Facebook is the cat's ass. And it really is amazing what Facebook has done so far, right? And we all got dragged into it with a lot of success, I have to say, especially staying in contact with your friends, your family, and so on and so on. The only problem I see is, you know, over the years, you don't just have 50, 60, 100 friends in there and family members. You maybe have accumulated 2, 3, 800,000 friends in it. Which means on the end, when you go to your Facebook today, you only see the first 3 messages in there, or the first 10, and the others, 100 maybe, you haven't seen because you haven't been on there for a day or 2 days. And it's hard to follow through with these messages too, to go through it, right? And then on top of it, what is really hard is, if I want to see just things from my working colleagues, well, I got to skim throughout the whole wall and just look at all these posts and differentiate out which one is now family related or work related, which makes no sense. So as it is right now, actually, I don't like myself Facebook anymore, because when I go to Facebook, yeah, I see the first couple of comments in it, but if I would scroll down where I left it the last time, I go down through, I cannot even read it. It's too much. So that's why I think Facebook still works. Yes, it still has its impact. If they do not change, they will go down something just like MySpace did, right? It will not go down as fast as MySpace because there's way more oomph and power behind Facebook than with MySpace. But why I'm saying that is because there's something better out.
Yeah.
And the better out is actually Google Plus. And Google Plus is nothing else than Facebook, just not having the disadvantage of what I just talked about. As an example, you know, a buddy of mine, he works in the executive world, doing high-end deals with oil companies, right? And it's a funny story actually. And the guy, his hobby is cycling. He is a cyclist, mountain biker, street biker, just a crazy biker, right? So in his Facebook page, he has a lot of working colleagues in there, but he also has a lot of bikers in there. And a lot of his friends are like these courier bikers, you know, who bring the letters from office to office. And some of these guys look pretty weird with their earrings and nose rings and whatever rings in it, right?
Yep.
And it's great people, all great, right? But if his working colleagues or people he does this deal with go to his Facebook page and say, what kind of friends does Stuart have over here, right? And they see all of a sudden this guy showing up with all these nose rings in there, which is his biking buddies, they might get the wrong impression about him. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so Facebook doesn't differentiate anything of this. The same thing is, if he wants to post a message about his biking, some messages maybe the working world shouldn't really know. Maybe the family messages you put out, some of your buddies shouldn't know, right? Like your hockey buddies or your biking buddies or whatever, right? And that's the cool thing in Google+. In Google+, you create something called cycles. It's your cycle of friends. You have your biking cycle of friends, you have your family cycle, you have your working cycle. And when you actually go into a Google+ site, you can say, show me only posts from my working cycle. And you will only see wall posts which you arranged or sorted into your working cycle. And if you are in the mood right now to see family posts, then you just click on family and you see your family posts. Isn't that cool?
Yep.
But where the real power comes into Google Plus is this. If I set up a cycle, as an example, massage customers, I can create wall posts only for massage customers. At the same time, I can go into my Contact Us page in my contact list from, let's say, Gmail, and you can assign everybody who is, or anyone else you know an email of, into that cycle. Meaning, if they are not a Google Plus user, you actually have their email address in, and when you post a wall post into your Google Plus for massages, there's a section in there which actually would say, do you want to send an email to everybody else who is not a Google Plus user? You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
You actually have your own list server built into Google Plus right there for free. Isn't that phenomenal?
Yeah, it's make it so much easier.
So Facebook doesn't have that, not even close. They don't even have it, right?
Yep.
And you cannot even sort things or create your own cycles. So really, if you use still Facebook, you still have to use it because so many people are on it, right? And you will see the impact will not be as strong anymore than it used to be, let's say, a year ago or 2 years ago. And I think the more strength goes into Google Plus because you also can use Google Plus as a list server at the same time. Did I confuse you now?
Nope.
Nope. So, bottom line is really this. That's what I'm saying is, number one is anything you do has to have a call to action, okay? If you have a billboard on the road and it says who you are on the billboard, what you're selling on the billboard, so you introduce yourself, who you are, what you sell, and always put a kind of call to action in to do them, let's say to contact your sales office. Your sales office has a script laid out. If a person walks in the door, we greet them that way, we get them engaged in a communication that way, and show them our product or services. To, on the end, sign them on the dotted line, right? So for anything you have, even from a paper advertising ad, or from a road sign, or from anything, it always should be having a call to action, and it should have a script laid out in the background in how you bring that person to the dotted line. And that's exactly the key strategy, what really should be thought about it in any website. And it can be as simple as I just stated you, and here it is with my flying Max one in there. Who you are, what you do, and then just put the blog in there. And the blog is there to keep them active, keep them they come back, right?
Yep.
And again, if you have an online scheduler built into it, makes it more active on top of it. And then have your Facebook built on the site, because the more links from Facebook coming to your site, and the more links from Google Plus on the end coming to your site, and the more new content you have on your website, the better search engine optimization you have as well.
Yep, and it's so easy to search on somebody's website too. That's why too it's a little bit more itemized. And
yep. So really, to wrap that up, is at the beginning, think about what you want. Search engine optimization, yes, it's important. If you want to get your own website, host it, GoDaddy or hostgator.com. Get your domain name with GoDaddy.com. And then if you want to take it a notch further, when you know exactly where you want to go and want to get a cool design laid out, go to 99designs.com. You will be impressed what you see there, what they come back with. It will look absolutely professional, right?
Yep.
And once you have this designed and done, simply just go back to your host with WordPress, and with your content management system, you can update your website anytime, create your blogs, so you don't need to have anybody else doing that for you once the structure is set up, right?
Yep.
If you don't want to go that route, you want to have a more affordable route, really go with the blogger. And the blogger, phenomenal. It's not just a blog. It actually allows you up to, I think, 6 or 8 different pages in here, sub-pages to create in here, which for most massage therapists will do the job.
Yeah, that's all they need. Yep.
Yeah. Really, you don't need way more on it, right?
Yep.
And then from there, this is completely free. There's not even a cent involved in it, right? And you can actually forward your own domain name to this as well, and have all the Google exposure right from there, because it's a part of Google. You can integrate with Facebook as well, as you can see here, right? And off you go.
Yep. Yeah, and with with Blogger and also WordPress too. I mean, it's if somebody knows how to do Microsoft Word, they can more likely adapt to this program, no problem. Then.
Oh yeah, way easier than this is way easier than Word. See, this is all the tools you have here on top.
Yep.
Yeah. Even I could understand it.
Yep.
Well, you can go two ways. This is in a compose mode. You can go this mode, right?
Yep.
That's the HTML mode. You can make it in HTML if you want to, right?
Yep.
Or you can just say, well, let's bring it back to the max level.
And that's a great way to kind of learn code if you just hit the HTML button every now and then too to see what everything actually looks like on the back end. And
you can, but do you really want to? Look at that.
Yeah.
You know, I tell you the truth, before I learned that, I'd rather jump off a perfectly safe mountain.
Yep. So, what's next in your future, would you say?
In regards to?
With appointment.com or anything else? And
well, with appointment.com, the next part, what we are actually working on right now is, as an example, we are just about to release an iPhone app and an Android app. So actually you have the whole booking procedure running through an iPhone and through an Android phone. And that's one of the big parts. We are also doing things like as a widget, meaning in this case you just create little pop-ups and then you can create show you that little pop-ups to actually integrate into your website to make it actually more running in a way, integrated in a way. See, if you see this little button there, you click on it, then there comes a little whiteout pop-up in there, then you can actually start doing your appointments right from here, right? And then just pick the time and do your booking and you're done. And that's all working within your website as a pop-up, right?
uh-huh.
So that's what we are going more and more forward. You can see we already have the widget in place. The iPhone and Android part is built into it. And I mean, it's all about new features, other features and updates into it. This is what we are really concentrating on. I mean, our part is to do online scheduling to be integrated into your website. We also have, as an example, an API built into it. That means this also can be integrated into other systems, which we really try other companies. You know, like Steve with Massage Office.
Uh-huh.
You had an interview with him a while ago.
Yep.
And I really wish that we could integrate our scheduler with his software. We have already other software right now, like GoFigure.com, which is for sports clubs, a management system. Our systems are integrated, so these kind of things what we believe in. Right. So this is one part. Then from a personal level, yeah, well, we want to still take it to the max.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's we still do this as a hobby. I used to do this as a professional. We still have a lot of fun with it, and but we also get more engaged as a keynote speaker now as well, like motivational speaking. And so that's how we try to keep a very good balance between appointment.com, which is very exciting, to set something like this up and operate like that, going into your hobby, your sport, and then at the same time sharing it with others through like these speeches we give to schools and to high-end companies.
Yep.
Like oral company. Tomorrow actually we will be doing a huge presentation to the top 250 executives in one of the biggest oil companies in Calgary tomorrow.
Oh.
So yeah, it's very exciting. So I'd like to keep it a bit versatile. It keeps you sane.
Yep. And what's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Best way is going to appointment.com. If you send an email to max@appointment.com or go here to flyingmax.com and send an email to max@flyingmax.com, they can get a hold of me in any regards. From appointments perspective, just contact me there if you want to set up a free trial or set up a meeting with me to talk about where and what can be done. I'm more than happy to do that.
Okay, great. Well, it's been a pleasure tonight, Max.
Yeah, same here. Hey, we made it in 1 hour. Look at that.
Yep. And thanks everybody for tuning in, and I'll have the replay up tomorrow then too, okay? Okay, thanks everyone.
Well, thank you very much for having me there, Ryan. I really appreciate it. And
Thank
keep
you.
up the good work.
Thanks, man.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.